Right now, it looks like the Golden State Warriors have a very good chance to become a legitimate NBA dynasty. I mean, Golden State has been to the last 3 NBA finals. They've won 2 championships in the last 3 years, and they have a roster that has 2 MVPs surrounded by a supporting cast with 2 other All-Stars. So, I'm not saying that no other team has a chance to win an NBA championship in the next 3 years, but Golden State is going to be the championship favorite for the foreseeable future. So with that in mind, I got to thinking, is it possible for us to predict the next NBA dynasty? What team 3, 4, 5 years down the road has a chance to win a championship and begin an amazing run? Well, when looking at that question, I came up with 4 answers. One of those answers was the Bucks, who I already did a video on, link in the description, but I'm not going to bring them up again. So in today's video, we're looking at 3 young teams that have a chance to become NBA dynasties in the future. So how are you guys doing? My name is Mike, and before we jump into the video, I just want to say one thing. Thank you for 1 million subscribers. 1 million. I never thought when I started YouTube I would actually hit this number. I'll be honest, my ultimate goal after like 2 or 3 years was 100,000, and even that seemed unlikely. So thank you guys so much for your support, and like I said, we're gonna do a big giveaway. However, I have no idea what to give away, so comment down below what you want me to give you. And with that said, let's see if we can predict the next NBA dynasty. Number 3, the Philadelphia 76ers. It's going to be really exciting watching the Philadelphia 76ers not only next season, but for the next 5 years at least. Because looking at the core 3 of Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, and Markelle Fultz, it's obvious that the Sixers do have the potential to one day win a championship with these players. However, there's also a chance that Philadelphia only becomes a first-round playoff team with these players. That's how wide the spectrum is here. For instance, last year Joel Embiid was a monster on the court when he played. Unfortunately, he only did play in 31 games and sat out the rest of the year with another injury. That means in the 3 seasons he could have played in NBA games, Embiid has only taken the court 31 times, which is a shame because at his best, it does look like Joel has legitimate MVP type potential. Last season, he averaged 20.2 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game in just 25 minutes a night. But we've seen this in the past with guys like Greg Oden and Andrew Bynum. Some people are just not made to withstand the wear and tear of an entire NBA season. I hope Embiid does not fall into this category, but I can't help but feel doubtful about this entire situation. Which brings us to Ben Simmons, who missed what should have been his rookie season last year with a foot injury. Again, this isn't great. There have been a lot of NBA players whose careers have been ruined by foot injuries. Hopefully though, this will not be the case for Simmons, because it looks like he too has a serious chance to develop into one of the game's best players. Just last year before the draft, scouts were in love with Ben, and Magic Johnson even went as far as to say that Ben Simmons was the best basketball prospect he had seen since LeBron James. That's big time, and also pretty coincidental, as many people have compared Ben to a young LeBron James and Magic Johnson, and that comparison makes sense. Ben is 6'10", but considers himself a point guard and has proven to have the type of court vision to back up his belief. What's more, he has the type of confidence that is needed to become a star in this league. This summer, he's already said that he's not worried about ranking as one of the top rookies next year. He's worried about competing to become one of the top players in the league in general. Those are some big words from a man who has not played a single minute of professional basketball, but Ben's teammates have backed up this confidence. After practicing with Ben this summer, a new teammate Amir Johnson said, "I truly believe definitely Ben is going to be the future of this league coming down the road." So I really hope Ben's foot does remain healthy. I hope Ben does become a cross between LeBron and Magic Johnson, because I just want more great basketball players in the league. Which leads us to the last and final piece of Philadelphia's potential big 3. Somehow this summer, Markelle Fultz has flown under the radar, which is weird. All throughout the 2016 college basketball season, Markelle had everyone talking about him. He was deemed the unquestionable #1 pick in a loaded draft and was said to be a future top player in the league. But then, for some reason, Boston traded away the #1 pick, and questions about Markelle began to pop up. Why was his college team so bad? Why does Markelle always look indifferent when he's on the court? Is Markelle the type of leader you can build a team around? These questions have definitely slowed down the Markelle Fultz hype train, but I think that's unfair. This is probably just a case of people looking too hard at a prospect and eventually looking too hard at his faults. I think Markelle is going to be a great player in this league, and if his other 2 potential star teammates stay healthy, the Sixers are going to be a very scary team. Number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers might just be the most interesting team on this list for one reason. We have no idea what their team is going to look like in 1 year, let alone what they'll look like 5 years from now. Sure, they have a solid young core in place, and we'll get to those players in a second. But there are also a ton of free agency rumors being thrown around that the Lakers are involved in. For instance, this summer the Pacers were forced to trade Paul George for next to nothing because a rumor was leaked that PG is 100% going to sign with the Lakers next summer. Now that PG is paired with Russ though, it is possible that he'll be happy on the Thunder and re-sign there. But it's also possible that he'll leave for Los Angeles and recruit Russ to leave with him. And of course, we've all heard the rumors that LeBron James himself might leave the Cavs to sign with the Lakers next season, which means if the Lakers do sign some of these guys next year, they might already be a championship contender next season. But there are a lot of maybes involved in that scenario, so for now, let's just look at the team that the Lakers already have in front of them. With this LA squad, everything begins and ends with Lonzo Ball. As the number 2 pick in an absolutely loaded draft, Lonzo is clearly the Laker that has the best chance to reach top 5 player in the league status. Just watching him, you can tell that he plays the game different. 1 minute he's on the court flinging full court passes to wide open teammates for easy layups. Then the next he's launching 25-foot jumpers with his iconic, weird, different jump shot. And so the important thing to remember here is that while Lonzo's game is different, it's also something else. Very effective. Last season in college, Lonzo joined a UCLA team that had gone 15-17 in 2016 and led them to a 31-5 record in 2017, while Lonzo himself was named a first-team All-American after averaging 14.6 points, 7.6 assists, and 6 rebounds a game. Then came the Summer League, where again Lonzo helped his team to win games and actually led the Lakers to the Summer League Finals. Unfortunately, he had to sit out those finals due to an injury, but he was still named the Summer League MVP after putting up 16.3 points, 9.3 assists, 7.7 rebounds, and 2.5 steals a game. So you can see there's a constant theme here. When Lonzo is on the court, his teams win games and he puts up big numbers. In my opinion, the same thing is going to happen in the NBA. Sure, he might struggle a little at first, but when you have the court vision that he does, the work ethic that he does, and the confidence that he does, you're going to have success in this league. But in order for the Lakers to actually become a dynasty, Lonzo is of course going to need a lot of help. Luckily, LA already has several young players on their roster with all-star potential. Last season, Julius Randle showed us some flashes of the Draymond Green type impact he could have on the floor, and Brandon Ingram has all the potential in the world. If Brandon has the work ethic to match that potential, he could very well grow into a big-time scorer. And even if those guys don't reach their full potential, the Lakers are still the Lakers. As long as a few of the young guys on their team develop into all-star level talent, other all-stars are going to want to leave their teams to play in Los Angeles. That's happened countless times in NBA history, and there's no reason to think that that will change anytime soon. And number 1, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves are the number 1 team on this list for a very simple reason. They already have 3 players on their roster that are capable of growing into a championship level core. Because at the end of the day, in this modern NBA, that's what you need to win a championship. 3 top level players. Looking back at championship history, the Cavs had LeBron, Kyrie, and Love. The Warriors had Curry, Clay, and Draymond. The Heat had LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. You get the point. Though, to be fair, the Warriors right now do have 4 top level players, but they were only able to do that because they got lucky with the salary cap, so that's probably not going to be a trend going forward. Which means when Golden State's dynasty eventually falls, every future champion is going to try and assemble a big 3. And wouldn't you know it, the Minnesota Timberwolves already have a future big 3 in place. Yes, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, and Karl Anthony Towns are a core that any team in the league would love to build around. Sure, that might sound like a stretch when you consider the fact that Minnesota hasn't made the playoffs in 13 years and won just 31 games last season, but I think the addition of Jimmy Butler is going to change everything. He's an established top 15 player in this league. He's the leader the Minnesota Timberwolves have desperately missed, and going even further, the combination of Jimmy and head coach Tom Thibodeau should have a huge impact on Andrew Wiggins' development, especially on the defensive end. Wiggins' defensive capability going forward will be very important for Minnesota's future, as if Jimmy and Andrew can both be defensive stoppers on the wing, it's going to be very hard to score on the Timberwolves. And this elite defensive wing duo is very possible. As a prospect coming out of college, scouts believed that Andrew was going to be a star defender in this league. That hasn't happened yet, but the tools are still there, waiting to be sharpened. So if things go right, it already looks like the T-Wolves have their big three. But with that said, yes, a future NBA dynasty is probably going to need around 3 all-star level players. But that same dynasty is also going to need something more, because dynasties also need MVP level players. And to be honest, it's unlikely that Jimmy or Andrew is ever going to develop into that type of player, which means the Minnesota Timberwolves' future rests in Karl Anthony Towns' hands. Now, that might seem like a lot of pressure to put on a 21-year-old, but I think Cat is ready for that challenge. I think he will grow into one of the NBA's best players and absolutely has the chance to become the foundation of the league's next dynasty. The signs are right in front of us. At the age of 21, Karl Anthony Towns averaged an absurd 25.1 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks per game. He did this with a 26 PER. He shot 54% from the field, and he made over 1 3-pointer a game. Again, these numbers are crazy, and for some reason, I feel like Cat's monster season went slightly under the radar. I mean, when you look at every player in the history of the NBA, only Karl Anthony Towns and Shaq averaged 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 1 block per game in a season at the age of 21 or younger. That's very impressive, especially when you consider the fact that Cat is grabbing 12 rebounds a night while also spending a decent amount of time on the perimeter, which is what makes him the perfect modern NBA center. He can already do it all, and he's only spent 2 seasons in the NBA. What's more, unlike someone like Joel Embiid, Karl has no injury problems at all. He's never missed a single game as a professional basketball player. And to top this all off, Cat wants to be a star, and he's willing to put in the work. As his teammate Brandon Rush has said, he works all the time. He's in the gym non-stop, and he wants to be one of the top players in the game, which is really no surprise. Every season so far, Cat has gotten noticeably better, and I think by the time the man is around 25 years old, we're going to be talking about him as an MVP candidate. So there you have it. Along with the Bucks, I think those are the 3 teams that can become future NBA dynasties. And I think the craziest thing about this list is I don't really know who I would bet on. I mean, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are the safest choice here, but I mean, like I said, I could see the Lakers signing some top free agents, and I could see the Philadelphia 76ers becoming amazing. I mean, if Embiid and Simmons stay healthy and Markelle Fultz proves to be the real deal, the Sixers are going to be very tough to beat very soon. Anyway, if you guys are new to this channel, I hope you subscribe. I do basketball videos like this. I make NBA history videos, NBA conspiracies. I'm going to be doing an NBA what if soon, I promise. And to everyone already subscribed, again, thank you so much for 1 million. 1 million! I can't believe we did it. This is just incredible. Thank you. And as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music.